Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Homie Picks. It's me, Jared, Ben, and Lou back at you for another episode. Fellas, how y'all doing?
Oh, still enjoying that victory from the Colts on Sunday.
It was a nail biter. It was a nail biter.
Yes, it was, but that was the indie move. You know what I mean? They lose to incompetent teams, and here comes the Chiefs, and they somehow manage to win. That's just what they do.
That's the Colt way. Lou, how you feeling after your Giants finally tasting defeat?
Man, we got no offensive line. That's what that proved to me. We got no offensive line, and it was a good win by Dallas. I can't even front. I mean, they came out and they smacked us in the mouth. Pressured the quarterback 27 times.
Right.
You ain't gonna win that way. So especially with the O-line looking like Swiss cheese. So good win. I mean, we had a couple shots there. We got the Bears this week. So
the legend of Cooper Rush came through to MetLife Stadium. And now you got, but this week you got the NFC North Division champions coming through. So I'm still going to be on my Bears for that one. I know, Ben, your team has a tough one going against Tennessee as well. But we're going to start off actually with what I feel should have been. I feel there should be a Sunday night football game. I know there's a good one coming up too. We're going to discuss that one. But I feel this game actually should be Sunday night football. This is prime time. You got two MVP type caliber players, especially Lou definitely selected Lamar, and Lamar is playing like one. You got Buffalo coming into Baltimore, but Buffalo is a 3-point favorite. Baltimore is a plus 136. It's going to be a tough one, but Ben, how do you see this one faring out?
Yeah, it is a tough one. It's going to be a good game, no doubt about it. But I would have to lean towards Buffalo in this one. Just my only concern about Baltimore is really their back end. They have a lot of young guys playing the back end, and Buffalo throws the ball a lot. So I think they're gonna get burned with that eventually. I know Lamar's gonna do his best to keep up with them, but I just think eventually the defense, the young guys are gonna get overwhelmed by the Buffalo attack. I feel they have good defense. So yeah, as much as I like Baltimore how they're playing right now, I just think right now this matchup, just because of the back end and the defense, I don't think they'll be able to guard the pass as much. I mean, I think Josh Allen last game, he had 400 yards. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 300, 350. So yeah, I take Buffalo on this one.
Lou.
I'm riding my MVP on this one. I think this is one of those games where Lamar Jackson has to make a statement, has to cement himself as, listen, I'm the alpha in this conference. Yeah. I like what Lamar did. Lamar gave us a little bit of everything, and I don't think Lamar has hit that level yet. Right now he's in cruise control and he's managing the game. He's doing it with his legs, doing it with his arm. He hasn't really taken over a game. We thought he did that against Miami, and we saw what happened there. But I'm going to go with rock with Baltimore on this. I think Josh Allen gets punched in the mouth in this match. I think Baltimore's defense steps up.
So last week in Foxborough, Baltimore, for the first time in the regular season, got a win, which is kind of crazy when you think about the fact that we got 2 wins against the Patriots in the postseason. Of course, that was during the Brady era. And Lamar had 4 touchdown passes and 1 running touchdown. 5 that's. Whoever had him on fantasy was definitely in love with Lamar.
He put up 39 points in fantasy.
Like, Lamar was lightning. The problem with my team, I feel definitely is our defense. Especially you can pass on us. Miami proved that. Even Mac Jones is getting success against us after a while. Thank you. Also to Mac for throwing as many picks as he did too. But it's definitely going. I can see it definitely being a high scoring affair. like the same kind of shootout that we had against Miami, the same damn near a shootout last week too, against a lowly Patriots team. I'm happy that this finally completes the AFC East circuit. Like we ain't got to see them no more for the next 4 years. But I'm gonna go with my boys too in this one. I know probably people are thinking, oh, I got a football, international soccer, but if I have a football jersey on, it's not a Lamar jersey, you probably think I was gonna be too ashamed to pick my boys, but nah, I'm picking my boys this week to pull this one out. I think 3 points is actually a fair one too. It's going if it stays at 3 points, it's definitely going to be a push. But you know, I think it'd be a great game to bet on, or even just to enjoy. And it's a 1 o'clock game. That's why I think that thing should be prime. That's a prime time written all over it.
It should be. I mean, both teams are doing better. Like, they're more entertaining to watch right now than the current Sunday night game.
I know, which we're going to right now. Which, Lou, it's this was your pick, so go on. Let it.
Yeah. So I don't even know who's going to be the home team at this game with the looming hurricane. It might be played in Minnesota. So it's going to be KC versus Tampa Bay. I like this game, one, because it got a Super Bowl rematch on there for one. I do agree with you guys. I don't think this should have been a Sunday night game, but Brady Mahomes sells better than Jackson,
Allen.
Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, Allen. So I'm going to take on this game. It's hard. Kansas City coming off of a crazy loss, which I didn't think was going to happen. And then, Tampa Bay coming off of a win.
No, they lost.
No, they
They lost. Excuse me, a loss to Green Bay. So both teams need to get their footing on this one. I think this is I said it, if you caught our preview episode, I said my hot take was Brady doesn't make the season. I think this is that first swan dive he takes. He already's breaking tablets. And I don't know, as the season progresses, I think Brady looks older week over week over week. Like, you're starting to see his age. So I'm taking KC in this one. If they play inside Minnesota's dome, it's a wrap. It's a track meet at that point, and Patrick Mahomes is just going to tear you apart inside of a dome. So I'm taking KC in this one.
Yeah, KC is a 1.5 point favorite. Buccaneers are plus 106. And as you said, hurricane coming in and it's tearing up stuff. First and foremost, for all the families that's out there who watch, anybody in Florida who does watch, or anybody who watches has family out there, I hope everybody is safe. It's destructive. Any kind of hurricane, or tropical storm can be destructive. You see video, but you never really want to live through this kind of thing. So, first off, safety and peace to all who are experiencing this kind of thing. Wherever the game is played at, I think right now, as these two teams are constructed, you kind of get like a weaker version of what they used to be. KC is still strong, but KC, I feel, would have been way stronger if they had Tyreek.
Yeah.
I feel Tampa Bay would have been stronger if Brady was maybe like 3 years younger. Like, Brady is still Brady. Don't get it twisted. But even that last week, that was a weird game, 14-12. With Green Bay, just slightly edging out Tampa. This one can go back and forth as well. Both teams had a loss. Both teams need a win. Tampa is going to be chasing New Orleans all year. KC has 3 teams that they got to worry about in their division. Somehow, some way, I do see Patrick Mahomes, the road team, actually being the winning team. I think 1.5 is very generous. But I think KC's going to run up the score. No, not run the score. I think they'll win by a touchdown, if not maybe 10 points. Because Patrick Mahomes just finds like Aaron Rodgers, when we think Aaron Rodgers had like nobody on this team, and he still doesn't really have that much on going on for his team, but he still finds people to throw to and get the ball to, and that's kind of the same thing that Pat Mahomes has. Ben, how you see it going?
Yeah, I see it a little. I mean, I see the problems of these teams differently. Like, I feel like KC, they had a bad game with Indy. Their special teams blew it up for them because really the special teams was what won it for us, and some bad penalties. Even with all those things happening, KC was right in there. They could have won that game.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're in better shape, at least offensively, than Tampa Bay is. And it's not so much because of Brady, but he just has no weapons right now. All his receivers are gone. And who he's throwing to? Scotty Miller, maybe. They just picked up Cole Beasley. So, you know, he's only had 1 week with the playbook. So it's going to be very difficult for them to put up points just because they don't have weapons right now. So I feel like that's the advantage KC has right now. On the other hand, Tampa Bay does have a really good defense. And if they can get pressure on him, might cause mistakes just like the Colts, because the Colts were able to get 38% pressures on him when he dropped back. So when he gets pressure, he makes mistakes. So that might be the only silver lining for Tampa, but I just don't see them putting up point to point with KC right now. Even though they're not as explosive as they used to be with Tyreek, they still can score. You know, they can still score pretty quickly. They still have Kelsey. I mean, he's still a beast. So just because of that, I feel like right now I would have to lean towards KC. Just the offense is just a little bit more ahead right now, and particularly with the injuries.
I think Mike Evans returns this week too, but unless somebody goes at Brady, he gets himself ejected again.
Right.
He's been like Mike Evans has been the second coming of Terrell Owens on that podium.
Right, but let's say Mike Evans comes back in, you know, they're gonna just double team him and just take their chance on whoever's left. So that's
right.
They haven't really like gotten their run game really established. I think they had one really good game, I think in week 2. But
Yeah, this is where you see him miss Gronk.
Right, exactly. Like he doesn't have that security blanket right now. So that's why I feel like they're kind of out of whack right now. So that's why I just can't trust Tampa Bay's offense. And I think that's why they lost to Green Bay, to be quite honest, because Green Bay, they didn't score anything on the second half. They were just really good off the first half scripted plays that they had. After that, he went back to Rodgers. Like, if he don't trust the receiver, he won't throw at them. And basically they just put up donuts for the rest of the game. That's why we were so close. It should have been that close because Tampa was playing horrible. So.
Right.
Yeah, it was. But you know, it's funny. You mentioned a phrase, run game, and that's actually why I'm actually that's why, you know, in terms of the game that I selected this week, was actually the Jets at Pittsburgh. You know, and people probably like, what the hell are you talking about? Well, that's like the only thing you're going to see is running, because both of those quarterbacks, who knows you're going to get week by week.
Right.
But it's probably introduced to the game. Jets at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a 3-point favorite. Jets are a plus 142. Like I was saying about running, you got Harris, you got Breece Hall. Zach Wilson is back.
Right.
Zach Wilson is back. I think it'd have been fun to see Joe Flacco go against Pittsburgh one more time for old time's sake, you know. But at the same time, I think it's Zach's time to come back in and take over his mantle. Hopefully, I hope the kid doesn't get injured first play,
Right.
you know, and have a horrendous Jets season as Jets tend to do. But you know, over the Jets last week tried to be another comeback team. You know, like they did it against
Against
Cleveland. They tried to come back against Cincinnati. That didn't work out so well. But the team has fight. I think so. I think Saleh he's trying to do things, trying to motivate this team. Pittsburgh is a strong team, you know, regardless of how inconsistent they are. Trubisky is
Trubisky.
Trubisky.
We see that it wasn't Chicago. It's just Trubisky.
Yeah.
You know, there's really not anybody he can really throw to in that team. I mean, it's
Dante
shoddy,
Johnson.
but it's
Yeah,
shoddy.
like,
You know, like his strong suit is going to be the run game, and the Jets know that. Same for the Jets. The Jets really just have a run game. You know, and the receivers can try to get open and they can do some nice things in space, but you know, I think it's going to come down between the run game. It's going to come down between the field goal unit. And I'm actually going to pick an upset. I'm actually going to go for the Jets in this one. I think the Jets get their second dub this season. You know, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna piss off a lot of Pittsburgh fans, but that's what I do best, right? Ben, how you think this one's going?
Yeah, this is also an interesting game for me too, because like it's one unknown quarterback and a mediocre quarterback going at it. You know what I mean? So for me personally, I feel like yes, the run game is gonna play a factor in here, but I think it's gonna come down to their defense and who can get a turnover and maybe get it easy 6 points out of the turnover. I think it's gonna be a defensive thing, really. I don't think it'll be a very high scoring game. And I've just leaned towards the Jets just because I feel like their secondary is a little bit better than Pittsburgh. And you know, Trubisky, if he throws one up there, I think they can capitalize. So that's for me, that's really it. Like, because I don't know what you're getting out of Zach Wilson. I mean, second year go around, but it's his first game back. You don't know how he's gonna be moving around with his injury. I mean, if he's fully healed. I mean, they say he is, but we never know, right? So just because of that, I have to lean towards the Jets. I just don't trust Trubisky at all. If maybe if Pickett was the QB, I probably would pick Pitt.
Does Flacco take over and say, yo, young man, I got this. I know how to beat the Steelers. Does he do that, Lou?
I'm gonna actually. So this game's gonna come down. Ben said defense. I think it's gonna come down to two players, the running backs on each side. I got both of them on my fantasy team, so this might be a good game for me to start both of them. Najee Harris hasn't really dominated a game, and Bryce Hall started to dominate. I think Bryce Hall is probably the best rookie the Jets selected last year, and he was the third rookie they picked. Sauce Gardner, I don't know what happened on that play when coverage got blown and lost, but that's stuff you're gonna deal with as a rookie. And Garrett Wilson did get a little banged up last week as well. So it comes down to the running backs. If Bryce Hall runs amok, it's gonna be who has the ball, it's gonna come down to ball control and who controls that line of scrimmage. But I'm gonna rock with Pittsburgh on this, just on the sheer fact that Mike Tomlinson always finds a way. Robert Saleh is year 2 into this. He's still new. I think when you're going off a veteran coach like you know, Mike Tomlinson, you really can't pick him to lose. If to control the ball and if Trubisky doesn't fuck up, we got to pray Trubisky isn't Trubisky. Like, minimize his mistakes, and let Najee Harris run the ball. Like, it's not a difficult formula for Pittsburgh to win, especially against the Jets. You know, Jets still have a long way to go. I think that defense is still trying to figure themselves out. Have communication issues, which is crazy because their coach is a defensive coach, right? You would figure that's the one area of the game that they would have had locked down, and that touchdown would have never happened if communication was better. But that stuff is going to happen when you got rookies out there and expect a lot of them. But I'm expecting a lot of Bryce Hall. I think he's probably the best offensive rookie pick. I picked him for rookie of the year at the beginning of the season too. So he's living up to his expectations, and it makes it easy for Zach Wilson, right? Coming off a big injury, you know, don't put too much pressure on him to hand the ball over, hit the screens, you know, read your cues, hit your down checks, and figure it out from there. But at the end of the day, I'm going to take Pittsburgh on this. They squeak out a win, maybe by a last-second field goal.
It's going to be a better. It's definitely going to be a better kind of game. Speaking of batters, I want to remind everybody, if you click on the link, click on the promo link for FanDuel Sportsbook, you get a free $50 bet. I think it'll be a nice somewhere around here, down, up, left, right, you know, like Mortal Kombat, up, down, left, right, boom. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a nice little betters game we got here. But Ben, who do you got this week? Like, what's eyeing you?
Yeah, the one that kind of stuck out for me is the Jacksonville Philly game. I know a lot of people wouldn't think about this particular game because it's Jacksonville, but I think this is a good spot for them. Like, I'm leaning myself towards Jacksonville. I know Philly's the favorite here. Obviously, they're 3-0 and Jalen Hurts is playing out of his mind. But I feel like this is a good letdown game for them right now. Like, this could be one that they just don't take their opponent that seriously. They think it's Jacksonville, but they're actually playing pretty well. Their defense is okay, and they're starting to score now. So they're starting to get into a groove. Trevor Lawrence is living up to his hype, I believe. He's going to start to get better and better as it progresses. They just really need a coach, a real coach, you know what I mean? So I think they have a good shot. I think it comes down to a field goal, last possession. I think Jacksonville pulls up the offset.
Lou, what you thinking on this one?
Fucking Jacksonville, though, man. Like, damn. Like, I didn't expect them to win. Like, I don't, like, what is, first, can we go back and say what the hell's going on with the AFC? Like, we expected that division to be crazy good.
Right.
And they play like a bunch of chumps, every team in that division right now. I don't even want to get started on the Raiders. Like, we ain't going to have that discussion.
I told you they'll be last in their division. I didn't expect
Man,
winless.
they're going to be last in the league right now. They're
winless
last in
team.
the league.
Yeah, they're the last winless team, which surprised me.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But back to the Jacksonville game. Yeah, I can't rock with Jacksonville. I'm gonna take Philly. Philly's looking like a problem right now. Like, everyone talked about, oh, they got AJ Brown, they got Devontae Smith. So what? Those two wide receivers are gonna give Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle a run for their goddamn money. I think the Eagles are Miami, but on another level, like on a more prestigious, polished level. That game last week was crazy. Devontae Smith was just jumping out of the gym. There wasn't a ball that he couldn't catch. And AJ Brown was looking like every bit. Is like, can we go back and see what Tennessee gave up for him? Like, got for him? Nothing.
Yep.
Scraps. They gave him away for nothing. And you can see that Tennessee's hurting right now without a go-to wide receiver. They're looking very, very minimal right now. So, yeah, Philly's just a beast. The defense was mean. I picked their defense to probably the best defense in the league in the beginning of the year. And they're living up to it. Like, they don't give you a chance to breathe back there. They're a very scary team, especially being in my division in the NFC East. I'm gonna rock with Philly. I think they knocked Trevor Lawrence off his high horse and he eats some turf and he comes back down to reality. And remember, like, he may be good in his division, but when you time to play the big boys, you gotta put your big boy pants on. So I'm gonna rock with the Eagles.
To make it clear, AFC South has this week beat every AFC West team.
What's their record?
For who?
The whole division.
And the whole
they got like 3 wins. They got like 3 wins.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm just saying they beat the West teams, right? The best team, best quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, and that goes back to me. I'm saying, like, we don't know what the hell's going on with the NFC West team. Like, you got the Raiders thinking it up. You got Herbert, clutching for breath. You got Mahomes looking like a shell of himself. And can we put an APB on Russell Wilson? did he leave his? He left his juice, his secret sauce, in Seattle.
Yeah,
he was getting his stuff.
He started riding and he forgot the juice.
That's what he see when he said "let's ride." He meant let's ride the fuck up on out of here. That's what he means.
No, seriously, like I think he wasted too much time on that little catchphrase instead of studying that playbook or something. Because wow,
I mean, that whole team looks bad. They look bad on every aspect.
What was said about the Broncos before I get into this game is they're using the same exact playbook that he used in Seattle. Why Seattle did what they did. They knew everything that he was going to do because they know the plays.
Who was that? It was Tyler Lockett. He's like, he's using the same calls.
Exactly. He's using the same one. Like, and the defense person gonna recognize, be like, oh, okay, we've seen this. We know. We did this in practice. We know exactly what he's going to do.
That's crazy.
But he hasn't made it any easier. Like, maybe this week for Denver Raiders, maybe he has the advantage because maybe nobody from Seattle was on that team.
Yes. Listen, for our bettors out there, whatever the under is in that game, take it.
Yeah.
Right? Take every under in that game. All right.
Which funny for the under in that one is going to be Denver. But
Take the points under, take the touchdowns under, receiving yards under.
Raiders,
Like take the
they're
under
winning that
under.
one.
Like,
Free pick right there.
for real.
Jacksonville, sorry, but Philadelphia is a 6.5 point favorite. Jacksonville is a plus 235. What's scary about Jacksonville to me is the fact that the 2 wins that they have, cause they blew it in the opener, but then after that, something has clicked. I don't know if it was Trevor's luscious hair. I don't know if it was
It's structure. It's structure.
It was probably been the structure. They have woke up. Something like it's something that I haven't seen Jacksonville play with this much energy since Mark Brunell. Like,
I was gonna say since the Saxonville era.
yeah,
Yes,
right.
yes.
Like they're playing with some fire.
Yeah.
They blanked the Colts. They damn near virtually shut down the Los Angeles Chargers, who I thought would have been, the division. They still could be the division champions, but they made two teams look like inept, which is crazy because you would have thought Jacksonville would have been the same inept teams. And they seem to be.
I mean, but people forget that they built that defense through the draft.
Yeah.
And now that defense is finally clicking.
Yeah. And I think for that reason alone, I'm actually going to give the edge. I'm going to do the under. I'm actually going to go for the money line and all that stuff for Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville has a really good shot. Now, granted, they're going into a hellacious territory. Philadelphia is
it's hard to
play. But thankfully for them, this is not Monday Night Football, so the lights aren't that bright. Even though I think Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins, but that's not here nor there. But I think Jacksonville is actually going to be the winner of this game.
Yeah.
Which then leads us into our final game, which is tonight's game. Thursday Night Football, you got Dolphins at Bengals. The Bengals somehow, some way are a 4-point favorite. Dolphins are a plus 164. Can't really explain that one, especially after the way Miami's been playing. But Lou, how do you see this one faring out?
Yeah, man. Miami's been that team that I don't know have looked like pretty much the best offensive team in the league. 3 weeks in, and going into Cincinnati, I know it's gonna be different. Miami faces with that home field heat advantage of running teams out of that field because they're not used to playing in the heat. But I'm gonna go with Miami on this one still. I think Tua took a really bad hit, and CTE is no joke. Which I'm surprised he even came back in that game. But I'm gonna rock with him. I think Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, they haven't figured it out yet. I think they're having those Super Bowl hangover. That they did win. They did squeak out a win last week. But I like what Miami is bringing to the table right now. At some point, Miami just think their wide receivers get open, and Tua is the perfect quarterback to find time. Tua is playing the way Russell Wilson should be playing in Denver. That's the way he should be playing. It's get open, scramble as much as you can, use that awesome offensive line they have, and find your open guys. And Tyreek Hill, I think. I remember seeing Tyreek Hill's keeping receipts because he owes Eli Apple.
All right.
For last year.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I'm gonna take Tyreek Hill, the cheetah, to just maul the crap out of Eli Apple. Eli Apple better fake an injury or something, like just get his ass off the field. Because Tyreek is coming for you, bro. So we'll see tonight's game. I'm rocking with Miami on this one. Tyreek Hill to go off for 200 yards receiving.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
That's bold.
Ben, what you thinking, bro?
Wow, yeah, I mean, Miami's been playing really, really well. Can't deny that. The receivers are dynamic. I mean, they're just lighting it up. Can't say enough about them. But I'm gonna have to go with Cincinnati on this game. Again, this is like Miami just had 2 back-to-back high emotion games, when they made the comeback against the Ravens, and now they beat the Bills, which they haven't beaten in the last couple of years. So and top of that, they got little injuries. So you mentioned Tua. I heard it was a back issue. He got like a stinger on his back. That's why he couldn't walk. So that's why they let him back in the game. So I'm not, not too confident in his health right now, because those kind of things could linger. And I heard that Waddle's a little banged up too. So maybe he might be a little bit limited, or he might not be as explosive as he normally is. And it's a short week. I just feel like this is a good, again, kind of like Philly, a good calm down game. Like, after so many high emotional games, I think they might slip a little bit, and that's going to give Cincinnati the chance to win. The offensive line has been horrible the first two games, but the last game against the Jets, they started to pick up a little bit on the protection. So I think maybe they're starting to find their groove, at least on the O-lines. And I think once they can get that established, maybe the run game will follow, because they haven't been able to run the ball. But, I just can't count Burrow out. And I really don't think, I don't think after so many high emotion games that Miami's been through, I think this is just like a perfect spot. Like, they're just going to be a little bit down. They're not going to be to 100% into the game. Short week. I like Cincy.
Yeah, this is actually a tough one for me also. Yeah, I mean, the hell with both of these teams. The other one came back on my team in fourth quarter, and the other one, albeit I did say there will be my division champions, my division champions. I still say, F the Bengals. They got nice jerseys this week, though. I will say that
the white ones are fire.
I mean, the white Tiger jerseys are pretty hot. I ain't gonna front. Like, it look like Tigers out there in the field. But it's gonna be a tough one. I find it funny that Deion Sanders said that Tua would be an MVP type talked about player after during the week that they went against Baltimore, and then somehow, some way, Tua became an MVP type player in the fourth quarter alone. And then to next week beat, a strong Buffalo team. I mean, I was like, damn, Deion might be on to something. I might need to get him on home fix. But
I mean, they almost lost that game with the butt punt.
Bro, that'd have been Sanchez-esque if they did that one.
But that actually worked in their favor.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It did.
It did. So, but not every miracle was played out that way. But,
right. It's better to be lucky than good.
Right? But with Cincinnati, I think all it takes is just one. And literally all it took was just one week just to get something going. It's kind of like, when you're down and out, you just got to see just one thing, just go your way, and then you keep going after that. I think that's going to be the case with Cincinnati this week. I also think Eli Apple needs to fake an injury.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I still, even though Cincy's winning, I still feel Tyreek's gonna have a game.
Tyreek definitely is. He got his number. And Eli definitely has been the person that has had many beefs and people have always cashed out against him. So I think, yeah, definitely Tyreek is going to smoke him. And it's going to sad to get smoked that bad in those nice jerseys. However, I still do think Cincinnati is going to win this game. I think Jamar Chase is going to have to be as equally as powerful as Tyreek in this game. And it's going to come down to the defense, like which one wants it more. You got to think Burrow's going to be probably the best quarterback out there on the field, but it's going to come down to the defense and who can slow down. You really can't stop both those receivers, but like slow at least one of them down. And if Waddle's not as strong as he has been in recent weeks, then you kind of have a little bit of advantage there. You got to get Mixon going too. The run game has to get off for Cincinnati. If not, they are going to get. If not, then even if they can't get off, then yeah, Miami's going to win this game. But I'm still going to go with Cincinnati to lock this one down. Anytime touchdown scorers this week, who y'all thinking?
Well, I like this week Jonathan Taylor, actually.
Okay.
Tennessee gives up a lot of yards to them, and their defense is not the same as prior years. So I see him having a good game, definitely a touchdown.
Okay. Luke.
I'll go with Christian McCaffrey against Arizona. Yeah, he's due. I don't think he has run amok lately. So yeah, I'm gonna go McCaffrey. Running touchdown, first quarter. Get it over with.
Okay. Shoot. For me, I'm gonna be a homer. Mark Andrews. Say it with me,
Yo,
bro.
he lit it up, man.
Mark Andrews. He's gonna be it. I think he's gonna get at least two. Fantasy scorers. Like, who do you think he gets started? You just said Tyreek though.
Outside of Tyreek, I'm gonna go homer on this one. Saquon Barkley against the Bears.
Ben.
I actually like Khalil Herbert in this week. He's going against the Giants. Giants defense is okay, but last week he put up some good numbers. I think he had 157 yards rushing or somewhere in that area. So yeah, I think I believe Montgomery's still gonna be out. So I like Herbert. I think he was gonna have a nice game.
Fantasy stud of the week. Tough one for me. I'm actually going to surprise myself. I'm actually going to say, damn, I really don't know who to surprise myself with now, because there's too many variables that's kind of go with that Seattle Detroit game. I'm
Russell Wilson, you said?
Oh no, not that guy.
Right.
That's right.
Because I don't really trust Seattle's defense that much, I'm actually going to think Jared Goff is going to have a pretty solid game. I think he's going to earn some people at least a 25 to 30 point, a 25 and higher, maybe a 28 point and higher week.
So you're saying at least 2 touchdowns for the man?
I see at least 4.
4.
I see Jared
aggressive.
going off. I see my namesake going off. I can see 28. I can see 28 coming off of him. I just don't trust Seattle's defense. I think Seattle I think they're going to come back to earth. Like, they had a nice emotional win against Denver, but they've been kind of like ever since then. In Detroit, I think Detroit is coming into their own. Like, they should have. Shout out to Danny. Our guest last week. But they should have. Minnesota should have lost that game. The Detroit just blew it in the end. That's all it came.
Yeah, that was a terrible game. That was a terrible loss for them. Like, and that's to say that a terrible loss for Detroit is weird in the same sentence, but the way Detroit's been playing lately, I think that was a terrible loss for them.
No, it was, yes.
But that's all we got for y'all this week. Thank you for the listeners. Thank you for the watchers. Share, subscribe, like, comment. As I said before, we got a promo. FanDuel Sportsbook is running a promo. Well, for us, if you click the link below or above, somewhere around this whole page, you'll see you get a $50 free bet. Aaron Judge definitely is looking like my over pick of 70 is not happening.
It's hard to hit home runs, man.
They're not pitching. Yeah, they're not pitching.
They're not pitching either, yeah.
They're really not. I mean, I think one of y'all says 65. Okay,
yeah, I was like around 66, 67. Yeah.
I think both of y'all said around that same number. It's looking like 65 might be the number.
I think we need to move him off. I know we're gonna get him as much bats as possible, batting first, but he starts off the game. As a pitcher, I ain't gonna worry about it. Like, I'm pitching around now. I'm gonna walk him every chance I get. Put him in third, fourth, like put him back in second.
I think they did it because DJ's still out. Hopefully he comes back for the postseason, and they can slot him back in the 2 spot, and I think it'll be better off for him. But yeah,
I think he was way more productive there. This is a bad slump for him.
If you put him between Stanton and Rizzo, it's kind of like, all right, well, shit, I gotta get to one of them,
right?
Like have that kind of line. And granted, like, Rizzo's been hot and cold at times, and so has Stanton. But I think I remember one time they tried to go around. I think it was against the Brewers. They tried to go around Aaron Judge, and they got the Rizzo, and Rizzo dinged it right off them. So
Right.
you give him some bat protection around him that he's been.
And can the Marises please exit stage left, because ever since they shown up, he has not hit a home run. All right. Listen, you Roger Maris Jr. You weren't even alive when your daddy did this. All right, just take your ass home. Like, you bringing bad juju all over Aaron Judge. Like, all the pressure. Like, go home. I just had the game right now. He just sitting there.
Been hit it. Oh, man.
Take your ass home.
I will say this. I wish I did put my money on it. I did back in January. There was an off-season bet for the home run leader to either be Aaron Judge, Stanton, or Rizzo, and for Yankees to win the AL East. And I put money on both of them, $5. So panned out on that one. But I only wish I put more on that shit.
Right. That's when it bites you, right? When you're like, oh damn, I should have put more.
It hits, sometimes work out well, some it don't, man. But that's what we got for y'all this week. Next week come back for another thing of football. Basketball season is starting again. People are getting a training camp. It's been fun times. Media day was just a couple of days ago. So, but like I said, like, share, subscribe, tell your people, tell your friends, tell your family. We'll catch up back with y'all next week. Peace.
Let's ride.